Hey my thrifty friends, Tabs here from the Urban Goddess shop. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are doing a work with me. If you're not sure what these are the videos where you get work done, I keep you company, and we cover reseller topics. I'm searching every week for different topics for us to discuss. I try and make sure that they're all current and things that we can all relate to. So watch for this logo, the WWM on the thumbnails. These are going to be the ones that you want to look for when you want to get stuff done. All right, if you're new to my channel, I'm a Canadian reseller. I'm a mom to 2 girls, a wife, and I work part-time in a hospital pharmacy. And then I also love to sell used clothing, and that brings me to YouTube. This is where I share my journey, everything about my business. So if you're new to reselling and you want to learn more, or you like this type of content, make sure you tap subscribe and give me a thumbs up to let me know. All right, let's jump right into today's topic. So we're going to do a life update, business update as usual. We're also going to jump into some very good topics. I have Posh holding funds, Boxing Day strategy, should you turn off your closet when you're away, yearly memberships, Poshmark pushing paid payouts. Oh my gosh, PPPP, end of year survey, and many more. Thank you to everyone that drops things in the comments or messages me on Instagram to give me kind of tips into things we should be covering. So if you're that person, thank you so much. Also, please feel free to reach out to me anytime with future topic ideas or things that you see happening, that you want to know if other people are noticing as well. I am so happy to cover these things if they have not already been covered in a video. All right, so let's kick this off. We're going to start with a personal life and business update. Personally, I feel like I've been doing pretty good. So my mom had COVID last weekend. She's doing good. She's like, all good, just waiting for Christmas for us to come down. So that's like such a weight lifted off of me. We've been really busy, so I've been trying to knock out all my Christmas shopping because it's actually getting harder to find items, and I found there's just been some really good sales. So yeah, I'm just trying to get everything ordered right now. I think I just have a few gifts left, so I'm happy with that. We were also out in the mountains this weekend, did some snowboarding. They had 12 to 18 inches of snow, which was amazing. It was so fabulous for a first day out on the mountain. It was like -3 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, and like 12 to 18 inches of fresh snow. Like it was perfect. It was everything I needed to just kind of, recoup, self-care, feel good. Just getting outside for me really recharges me, and I've just been feeling super overwhelmed in December. So I feel like even when my business is crap, if I can get out and do the things that I love, I think it balances it all out and definitely helps me deal with the stresses of everyday life, right? And like December is just stressful for everybody. Now, as for my business, it was a really slow week. I had $217 in sales by Thursday, I think, maybe Friday, and I think it was 2 or 3 sales. That is not very much. That is very low for me. So usually I'm selling 20 to 25 items a week, and I'm seeing a gross sales of 1,000 to 1,200. This was a really scary week for me. Saturday, Sunday, it was like all of a sudden a switch flicked back on in my closet, which also makes me think that they're still doing A/B testing, that they're still playing around with things. I don't think live shows are to blame for everything, to be honest. I think live shows have a direct impact on the activity on the app, but as far as like sales, I think there's a lot of things going on for people, right? I think buying habits have changed this year, and I think a lot of people are just being tight with their money. Times are tough right now, but I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. Like nothing happening for 2 days. Like I literally had 3 no sale days this week, and then all of a sudden this switch flicks on and it's like likes are happening, I sold, I think, $400 worth of items over the weekend. Like, it was a pretty good weekend, but not where I would want to be, especially in the month of December. Like, I would be hoping to make more sales. And I had quite a few items that were like Christmas party items if someone needed new outfits. And even those aren't moving how I anticipated them to move. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to be a slow December. I'm also prepared that I may have to sit on inventory and sit on stuff for a couple of months. I do believe in, keeping cash flowing into my business, but all the work I've put in to break even, I'm okay if I have to sit on things for a couple months. I'm really just hoping that come January, everyone, gets through all the Christmas purchases that they have to make, get all their bills caught up, and come January, things pick back up, because really, like, even 3 weeks ago, my business was running really well. I mean, maybe not as good as I wanted it to, but it was still doing very well. So what I've seen this week is like scary. Like, I don't know. I've never seen this, to be honest. I've never seen this low in the 2.5 years that I've been reselling. So I don't know, food for thought. Everyone has different businesses. Some people are, seeing a lot of sales and are doing really well. And I wish I knew their secrets, because I don't know. So that's my business. I'm ready to come into 2023, and I'm hoping for a good, strong year. I think we are going to have to change what we're sourcing and buying and what we're selling, but that's just going to be watching the market and watching solds, like doing more research into the products and stuff. All right. We're just going to dive right into this, because the first one I find very interesting. So here's the story. A reseller has sales left in limbo and they're not being paid out. The Posher sent out a few bundles. They were not scanned at her postal outlet. They were never scanned along the way. She reached out to the buyers and they said they received the packages, but I'm thinking they didn't mark them as received within the 3 days. She has tried to communicate with Posh to have the funds released, as these sales were from months ago. Now, I saw screenshots. She sent me a bunch of the information, so this is all true. Posh said because there was no tracking, they were not able to release the funds. Buyer didn't accept when they received. This person has contacted Posh. They have screenshot what the buyer has said receiving them, and Posh is still refusing to resolve these cases. I can see it happening to a lot of people. And actually, I read through some of the comments over the last week, and I feel like 1 or 2 other people have mentioned very similar instances. So if you don't know how to find out if you have packages in limbo, we're going to go through this right now. I do this probably once every 6 months, maybe every 4 months, but I am regularly checking to make sure that everything is being received and that the payments are being released. So what you do is you go into your sales, then you're going to filter your order status by shipped. This is going to show you all the packages that are kind of in limbo of they've been shipped, but they haven't been received, or the buyer hasn't received them, or the 3-day, waiting period of them being delivered hasn't happened. Now, what you're looking for are packages that are probably older than 2 or 3 weeks, because most packages are shipped and delivered within 2 to 3 weeks. You do have to give a little bit of time, but you're looking for past ones. I actually saw this probably like, I would say almost a year ago on Instagram. Someone had shared this and they discovered it. And when I went back and did it, I think I found 2 or 3 packages that had not been paid out. I did copy the order number and then sent it to Poshmark in just a contact Posh support or whatever. And I did end up getting paid out for them. I had a good experience with it. I'm not sure why this person isn't getting paid out, but I would recommend people go in and check, especially before the end of the year. So you're trying to get your payouts before then. What I would recommend doing, if you find one where the buyer has not received the package, in the actual sale, I would message buyer and say, have you received this package? Wait for them to reply. If they reply yes, I would then tap those dots to add Poshmark into the conversation, and then you can request for that payout. If you don't have this option for some reason, I would just copy the order number, contact Posh, and say this is an outstanding purchase. So yeah, I don't know why she wasn't being paid out, but I encourage you all to go and check your sales right now and see if you have any outstanding. Also, please share any experiences that you have in the comments on any of the topics, because you guys, when we share, we grow together, and I'm always eagerly waiting for all the comments, but I think it helps your fellow poshers out. So if you've had a similar situation, do you want to drop it down below and maybe share what the outcome was or how you found your resolution for it? And then I'm hoping this seller is able to get the payouts for these items. And I'm actually hoping that not too many of you guys have this issue. All right, next up, I'm going to talk about something that I'm kind of excited about, but it's Boxing Day and Boxing Day strategy. So I've talked about how I run sales in the past, and I felt like this needs to be discussed again. So the way I run sales in my closet is using the My Shoppers feature. And Boxing Day coming up, I'm probably going to start it on Boxing Day and actually run it for the whole week leading up to New Year's Eve. So I'm probably going to run Boxing Week sale basically. But starting on Boxing Day, I'm going to be running a sale, and it'll be bundle and save 40%. This is typical to what I do. I usually do this on long weekends, and it just helps me rotate the inventory and keep things moving through. I don't know what to expect this year because I don't know, sales again are all over the place right now, so I don't know what to expect, but this is what I'll be doing. I'll probably be adding all the likes from on Boxing Day, probably 3 weeks prior, maybe even a month. I'm going to add all likes to bundles through the My Shoppers feature. Then I'm going to send a message to the bundle, just letting them know, I'm running a Boxing Day sale, bundle and save 40%, whatever you want to add into it. And then I'm also going to send an offer to all the bundles. And for this, I'll do 40%. I will not do discounted shipping if it's an option. I can't remember if it is. I feel like it is in the My Shoppers feature. I feel like you can omit doing a shipping discount, but yeah, if I can omit that, I will. Also, when you do this, make sure to go into your closet prior and set your bundle discount, turn it off. Last time I said I covered kind of a sale, and I was like, I don't know how this person got this bundle for this price. It was in one of my What Solds video, and someone mentioned that if you have bundle discounts set on your closet already and you've sent them an offer, I think when My Shoppers does it, it discounts it from that original discount, something like that, which made total sense because I couldn't understand why this person got like 65% off, and that makes sense. So before you do the My Shoppers feature and you add all of them to bundles and send the offers and stuff, make sure you toggle off a discount. I usually have mine set to bundle and save 20 or bundle and save 25%. And yeah, make sure that's turned off. So because my sale is going to be for 40% off, it's going to be more than 10% of my last offer. Typically, the best offer I'm sending out is 30%. So this way I know I'm going to hit all the likes with the offers. But yeah, that's what I would do for Boxing Day. This is my long weekend strategy. I usually run this sale on long weekends, and it's just a way to try and move inventory every month to try and get those things going out. This is my bottom price. 40% is typically the max discount I would offer. Unless an item is 6 months or older, then I'm probably willing to do up to 50%. After that, I would have to look at what my cost of goods are and then evaluate from there. But if you're getting bundles built on Boxing Day or maybe on Boxing Day week and it's old inventory, just send them the damn offer, send them a good offer, get the inventory moving and get that money back into your business. But yeah, I hope this works for you. If you run sales differently, drop them down below. I feel like we can all have different strategies and still make sales. So it's interesting to learn what other people are doing. I'm really interested to hear if anyone is doing something different. Do you do it the same way? What are you guys doing right now for your, big sales? Okay, we're going to keep moving along now on the topic of Christmas and holidays. It's turning off your closet. So I've received questions where people are like, Tab, do you turn off your closet at Christmas? And personally, I do not. So even though I am gone for, like, I'm going to be gone for, I think 9 days, my oldest daughter is coming home in the middle there. So I'm going to get her to do shipping for me. Typically, if we're going to be gone, I would say up to 7 days, I would still keep my closet on. I probably wouldn't push sales the first 2 days. I would kind of just, take it easy on my closet because I don't want to have that long stretch till I could ship. But once I hit 5 days to coming home, I'm going ham. I'm trying to make those sales because I can ship within 5 days. So how to make this work if you're going to be gone for, we'll say 4 to 5 days over Christmas, what you do is you have 3 days to ship an item. Usually I won't mark them shipped until the 3rd day. Then from the 3rd day, I have 2 days before Poshmark is going to send me a reminder saying, hey, you didn't ship the item, which at that point, I'm going to mark the item as shipped and not tracking because that's going to take me on to the 5th day, which usually means I'm going to be home packaging up the package and having it in the mail the next morning. I know this is kind of a cheat and it's probably controversial, and I'm sure there's people that are like, you're abusing the system, but listen, I've never had a bad review from someone who said the item took too long. Like, I only do this twice a year. It's usually when we're on holidays, probably on Christmas, and maybe 1 week in summer where we're gone like the longest. And this is the method I would use. Yeah, if you're going to be gone less than 5 days, don't turn your closet off. Just keep it running and just extend those ship times. And you know what? Maybe the first day or two, you're just like not pushing sales, right? You're just, if they happen, they happen. And maybe you get a couple that day, so you have to extend it. You could also reach out to the buyer and just let them know that you're on holidays and you will have them shipped out, say on the Friday or whatever. And they're probably going to be okay with it. They may not be. And maybe they're going to say, actually, I need this right away. Can I cancel the order? And in that case, yeah, you're just going to cancel the order. You could reach out to them as well, but I'm just saying this extends your time. You can be gone and still have your closet open. Now, if I was going to be gone for longer than 7 days, what I would probably do is shut off my closet for, I don't know, say the first 3 days, turn it on when I have 7 days to arriving, and then just slowly, like, try not to work hard on sales, but also messaging anyone that makes a purchase, letting them know I am out of town for a week and I will have them shipped out as soon as I get home. If they have an issue with it, they can always cancel the sale. If I can discourage you from shutting down your closet, it does nothing to you for it to stay on. And if a sale happens, and it's money in your pocket, right? Okay, so that's my 2 cents. What do you guys do for holidays? Do you keep your closets open? Do you have someone that can come in and do your shipping for you? I have a really solid shipping system. So my family, anyone can come in and print the labels, grab the orders, package them up and drop them off for me. That was one of like the first things I did in my business, was create a good inventory system and shipping process. If you don't have one, I'm actually just going to toss a video up here. This is my shipping and inventory video where I break down. It is an older video. I think I filmed it probably about a year ago. Should do a new one soon because I do have some updates done, but yeah, it gives you the general idea of how to do it. So yeah, if you do anything different, let me know, drop down below. Maybe you have a hack or like a better idea than what I'm doing, and I am all ears to hear that. All right, moving along. Next one. Paying memberships paying memberships yearly. This is the time we're going into January, and I wanted to bring this up because for the longest time I was paying monthly on some of my memberships. For example, Canva, Photo Room, Prime Lister, Closet Tools. I knew that you got a deal if you paid yearly, but I was always like, well, what if I change my mind? Or what if I don't need it? Or I don't know what you think. You think all these what ifs. Here's the reality. I've been using all these apps for over a year. I'm not going to be changing. I'm happy with them. They're serving their purpose. I'm used to them. So I started to look into yearly memberships. So I'm going to give you some numbers just to give you examples. And I would encourage you to look into what the yearly membership costs are for any of the programs or software that you are using for your business. So for example, Closet Tools is the software application that I'm using for my closet sharing. It is $30 a month, which equals $360 a year if I'm paying monthly. But if I pay yearly, it was only $250. I switched that. I'm down for saving money. I'm going to continue using it. I don't have any plans on changing it. So for these types of applications, I think you're better off to pay the yearly and not waste that money, right? Another example was Prime Lister. So Prime Lister is $50 a month, which worked out to $600 a year that I was paying for cross listing. I use it for relisting, delisting. They do have a sharing portion, but I actually don't use it. I use the Closet Tool one, and I think it's just because I was using that one prior to using Prime Lister. And then, so for theirs, it's $600 a year if I'm paying monthly, or $400 a year if I pay yearly. And that was a $200 savings. So for just those two applications, which I probably pay for 5 or 6 that I use, not like all for Poshmark, but some for editing, some for YouTube, just on those two, I save $310 a year by paying yearly. So I just wanted to encourage you that if you are paying monthly memberships, that you look into this, find out what their yearly is and what is the difference, because that is a substantial amount of money. I bet you between all of my applications, I'm saving over $500 a year by paying yearly over monthly. These are things that I use weekly, sometimes daily, sometimes hourly. It's worth paying the yearly membership. Okay, had to throw that out there. Maybe you guys are better than me and you're already using yearly membership payment options. I just can't believe I haven't been. Like, even if I think of like the last 2 years, like I threw away $1,000 by not paying yearly. Makes me sad. Okay, I have to bring this next one up. So I've received this comment a couple times and it's just hilarious because they're always like, I don't know if you noticed this, but one eyebrow is darker than the other. And if you guys look, like they're the same, but sometimes when the sun is like coming from this direction and my ring light is here, it casts a shadow on this side of my face and one eyebrow looks black and one looks light brown. And yeah, it's the lighting, I swear, but I find it hilarious because I'm always editing and it drives me crazy the whole time I edit the video. And I know I have to upload it because I'm not going to re-record a 40-minute video, but it drives me crazy, just so you guys know. Yes, it is. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I know a lot of people probably just don't say anything, but trust me, I'm aware. It's funny. I hope you guys get a good laugh at the few videos where my eyebrows are like different colors. But yes, I had to say something. It's not my makeup, I promise. It's very even. It's the lighting that's doing that. Okay, so we talked about in the last week's video about someone that was missing money out of their Posh balance and, don't use them as a savings account. Make sure you're cashing it out. Someone mentioned in the comments that if you buy something off Poshmark, they will always use the credit that you have in your account first before going to your payment method. And I found this interesting because I totally forgot about that. And I'm not saying this person that had said the $50 was missing, that was from a purchase, but I actually had it happen to me one time a couple months ago. And I remember thinking the same thing, looking, going, what the heck? Why did my balance go down? And it was like, oh, I just spent $120. Where sometimes I would almost rather them use my credit card payment rather than using my credit, because that credit's going back into my business. But whatever, it is what it is. I do think that was a very valid point that I completely forgot to mention. So thank you to the person that wrote that. I'm sorry I did not note you down in here, but you know who you are. All right, this is a big one and it kind of got me fired up last week when I heard about it. But apparently Poshmark had this big promotion going on, encouraging sellers to pay $2 to direct transfer their payments. So I think we don't have this option available in Canada, so I'm not overly familiar with it, but I think you can pay to have an instant transfer, right? So they had a promotion that if you paid the $2 for that instant transfer, that you were entered into this grand prize. And I can't remember, it was a substantial amount of money. But I just was so blown away that they were requesting people to pay to get their money to be entered into a draw. So using the elusive, you could win a credit, right? That's what it is. It's a credit on Poshmark. It's not a payout. They're not giving you cash. But encouraging everyone to pay for that $2 instant transfer. And I was just like, here's another prime example of Poshmark hustling money out of their sellers. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. Basically, they're saying you're buying a raffle ticket for $2. Like, why not call it as it is and tell people, like, I don't know. And I know a few of you had commented on the last video saying that it was going on. I was so heated when I was reading those comments. I was just blown away. I just can't believe that. I don't know what they're thinking. We're going to talk about some numbers later on with Poshmark, and they're very famous for getting money from sellers. Definitely. They know how to work us to their advantage, right? They know how to work people like, hey, make a purchase today and get entered into $100 credit. Like, they know how to entice people to spend money on the app. Now, you may disagree with me, but I don't know. This didn't sit well with me. I don't like that. You guys, you know where I stand. You are my tribe. And some of you may disagree, and it doesn't mean you're not in my tribe, but I think the majority of you guys are agreeing with me. You were shocked when the pop-up showed up on your screen where it was like, pay $2 for your instant transfer and we're going to enter you into a draw for a credit. Like, screw off, Poshmark. I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but you guys know what I'm thinking right now. All right. I could feel like my blood pressure go up a little bit with that one. All right, so let's go on to the next topic. So also we had a few comments last video about overweight items being held at buyer's post office with extra payment required for release. Has anyone else had this experience? I was not aware. Like, I think this is a new one. So another viewer mentioned that if your buyer goes to the post office and you know the parcel is not overweight and they're saying, my post office is saying I owe money, you can have them reference the weight on the label. So on the label, it'll say up to 5 pounds, whatever, and then have the postal worker weigh the package in front of them. Like, show that the scale has been tared, which is zeroed out, and then put the package on. If it's less than 5 pounds, they cannot charge them for that package. And I think this is happening often. And this goes back into that whole packages being reweighed at USPS. And then, you know, coming back as overweight because, you know, possibly 2 poly mailers got stuck or a poly mailer in a box, whatever, but it's putting out the weights. So I think the biggest thing going forward is that if you think a package is more than 5 pounds, you need to weigh it. Like, it sucks. I think a lot of us just haven't been doing it. Like, I'm famous for not. I just slap the label on and mail it. I am making a conscious effort now that when an item is, or when a package is more than 5 pounds, or I think it is, I'm going to weigh it, pay the extra postage, because it's just not worth the hassle of either the buyer not willing to pay the extra shipping and the item being sent back to you, or Poshmark threatening to suspend your account. So those are two things that I really don't want happening. So I'll weigh them. But let's just put into reference, what would a 5 pound package be? So if you sell on any other platforms where you have to weigh items, you know, 5 pounds is quite a bit. Like, most tops, I'll say Lululemon leggings, most Lululemon leggings are less than 0.5, like they're less than a pound. Do you know what I mean? So you'd have to be sending out 5 or 6 pairs of Lululemon leggings to reach that. Most lightweight shirts are like less than half a pound. It's a substantial amount of weight. So most items won't reach that. I ship out a ton of sweaters, and most sweater packages won't reach that 5-pound weight. But just to make sure that you're aware that you do have to pay for extra shipping on those weights. Moving along, next one I thought would be a fun one for us to do together. So Jen Smiley sent me some messages on Instagram. Thank you so much. And she received an end of year survey from Poshmark. I have all the questions here, so if you haven't received it, we're going to go over this, and I want you to pay attention in your email, or maybe go and check your email and see if they sent one out to you, because this is of value. I think it's important for us to do these surveys, to share our thoughts, let them know what we're thinking. Do I think they take all of our recommendations into consideration? Absolutely not. I mean, we see what they come out with at PoshFest for new features and things like that. And I don't know who requests all those, because half of them I'm like, really, this is the best you came up with? I feel like they get a lot of really good ideas from resellers, and they use a very small fraction of them. For shits and giggles, I think that we should do these surveys and we should send them in. Let's do them together. And I encourage you, I mean, you don't have to do all the questions, but you're more than welcome to number them in your comment and answer them. I encourage you to add your 2 cents into these, because you may have ideas that other people don't, and then they can also share, you know, your similar ideas on their requests. And then maybe if enough people are requesting these certain ideas, maybe we'll see some improvements. Who knows? I don't want to pump the air into the tires too much, because I feel like we're all going to be let down, but it's still worth putting in the effort. Let's try. Okay, so first question was, if you sell on any other platforms, is there any features they have that you wish Poshmark also provided? How about working algorithm, working search feature? Search would be a big one for me. When I search items on eBay, I feel like it can narrow them right down. Like, I'm getting the ones that I want, especially when I'm searching for specific items. On Poshmark, the search, it still sucks. It pulls in keywords from everywhere. I don't know. There's a lot of junk. I think there needs to be consequences also for people that are wrongfully tagging things. Same thing on eBay. It gets your account suspended. Stop doing it. It's garbage. You're ruining the algorithm, and it affects everyone, especially buyers when they're on the app searching for things. Okay. And rent. That would be like my biggest wish. I think it's just improved searchability. And then I think what I also would like to see is in the subcategories, just more defined subcategories. Although I don't know which one specifically, but like the coats, for example, the jackets, that drives me nuts. I have a ton of jackets where I'm like, what is this? And sometimes what I wish they had was a little icon, like information that you could tap, that would give you information for that category. What are the parameters for that category? Because some things you're like, I don't know where this fits. Yeah, I think those would be 2 things. I think there's a ton of features that other platforms have that Poshmark doesn't. I would love to see views on an item. That is another one that I think really helps us as resellers, or anyone that's selling an item on Poshmark, knowing how many people are viewing that item. Even if they're not liking it or pricing it, gives you an idea if that item is a desirable one, something that people are searching, and they still haven't brought that out, even though I know a lot of people are requesting it. Question number 2, what features would you like to see improve on Poshmark? This is a tough one, because I feel like there's a lot of features that they could improve on. There's not too many where I'm like, man, they really nailed it. I actually personally like the My Shoppers feature. It works really well for what I use it for. But I do wish the news feed would stop popping up all those live notifications. So I have started unfollowing people. So if you do live shows, I'm sorry, I've probably unfollowed you, but it's just to clean up my news feed. I don't think that that is the fix, right? I don't think unfollowing everyone is the fix to not having your news feed filled up with live show notifications. And they need to fix that, because right now people are trying to decrease the activity of the app because they're like pushing so much down their throats. And I've heard of a lot of people that are just shutting off the app and deleting it that are buyers because the notifications are driving them crazy. Also, when they're on the app and maybe they're trying to look for offers from people and stuff, and they're just getting a ton of those live notifications, I think it is a deterrent for shoppers, for sure. And the reason why I also think this is that when you look at the amount of people in the actual shows when they're happening, even if you multiply it by all the shows, there's really not that many people. So I think, and I would love to know the data of Poshmark, like for the amount of people that they have actively shopping on the app, scrolling, liking items, and the amount of people that are actually going into shows. Is it worth all the effort and all the notifications that they're putting into the live shows if the majority of that population isn't transferring into shows? And I mean, who knows? Hopefully after beta, they'll take a look at all this data and decide how to move forward and what's best. But yeah, I don't know. I think the news feed, there's so many things that I think that they can improve on, and I'm like drawing a blank right now. I don't know where to start. So if you have anything to share, please drop them in the comments, because I am going to be doing my survey soon. I'm going to search it up, I think, in the next couple days. I would love any ideas you guys have on these subjects. Next one was, what new features would you like to see on Poshmark? And I like this. I don't think they're going to implement everything, but this is an opportunity for us to put our requests in. I think what I would love to see is that the live selling is separate from the regular Poshmark app. I don't think it necessarily has to be a separate app, but maybe it's a separate tab, section that people go in, like boutique, where they can click on that takes them into live shows, and they have to like actively go to that section, and then keep all the notifications and everything separate from the regular app. I don't know. I feel like they're not exactly tech savvy as a tech app, so I doubt we'll see something like that, but I don't know. New features, I would love to, and this isn't a feature, but I would love cross-border shipping. I still don't understand why they can't figure this out. This was promised 2 years ago. So many other apps have cross-border shipping, and I just don't understand why they can't make it work. Yeah, they have a contract with USPS. They have a contract with Canada Post. Come on, I ship things by Canada Post down to the US. People from the US ship me things with USPS. That's like my biggest thing. My biggest thing that I would love to see would be cross-border shipping. How would you improve the Posh Ambassador 1 and 2 program? This is like, yeah. Okay, so let's start with, how about a tiered discount on not shipping, but a tiered fees discount. So how about if you are a Posh 2 ambassador, we're taking 1 or 2% off of your Poshmark fees. Like I think there could be a tiered system in the fees, and if you reach top seller, then you have access to this fee structure. I think that if you were a top seller and your average sale price is under $20, that they should be cutting you a deal on commissions. To be honest, if you're a volume seller and you volume sell items between $15 and $20, I think the least they could do for you is give you a discount rather than charging you, that $2.95 or $3.95, depending where you are. That would be a big benefit. I think there's so much more they could offer in the Poshmark 2 and Poshmark 1 ambassador program. I don't even know what the requirements are of the 1, but I'm a 2, and it's useless. Like nothing that they do in the Posh 2 ambassador brings me any benefit. What was it? Live access, live shows or something like that. They've never done a live show in my city or my province since I've been a reseller that I'm aware of. They don't offer a lot of live events anymore. We used to get those live shows, and I feel like it was like online or whatever, and now that they are doing them in person, they no longer do those online ones, which really cuts out like 90% of sellers, because all they're hitting are the big cities. It's like Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. Like, they're just going to certain city centers. But what about the sellers in all the other cities, all the rural areas, everywhere? Like, we have to fly in to go to a free event. And I went to the one in Calgary, and I went there more for the social aspect and to hang out with a couple posh friends. But I don't think I would ever pay to travel to go to one of them. There was nothing of value handed out at the show I was at. It was just like food and drinks and visit. It was just a mingling night, I guess. So it's a lot of money to put out if you have to travel to one of those events. So yeah, how could they improve? Actually make it useful to us. Actually make it beneficial. Actually have perks for your resellers. What you're doing right now, none of that has any value to me or my business. And the next question was, compared to 1 year ago today, how beneficial is the Posh PA program in you making sales? Zero, none. I don't know. And unless they boost you in the algorithm, which they don't talk about that. Like, I don't know. To me, there is no benefit in my business having it. Maybe buyers like to see the gold star. That might be something. But I don't really think there's any direct benefit outside of maybe buyers seeing a gold star. But I feel like someone that's new shopping on the app probably has no idea what a Posh 2 ambassador program is. Like, they have no idea what those stars mean. You know what I mean? So I don't think it has any benefit. I'd love to see them come up with something that is of benefit to us, like literal, actual benefit. What content, so number 6, question number 6, what content in the Posh Insider do you find most interesting? I like it when they share data. I actually like it when they share like percentages, data, like actual feasible information that we can apply to our business. We get little slivers of it here and there, but that's what I find the most interesting in it. What would you change about or add to the Posh Insider? I like how they have a Canada one and a US one. I like how they do trending, trending categories, trending brands, what's been selling. But I feel like it needs to be more often. So I think what they do is they send it out quarterly. I wish they did a mini one that was monthly. So what was trending? It's the end of November. What was trending in November? And even if it was just like a 1-pager and it was like these brands or these categories, or like pick 3 things and give us the top 10 just to share with us. I would also, they're always like, top brand is this and this, but how about top brands over $50, top brands selling over 25, top brand, because sometimes they'll have brands in that top brands, but like when you look up solds, the items are all super cheap that are selling. So yeah, in quantity wise, like volume wise, they're a top brand, but like dollar wise, they're not. So I feel like there was I wish there was a little bit more data into those items or those insiders for that sense. What do you like most about the Posh Insider? Yeah, I like the style report. I like the data. I like when they're giving us this percentage was searching for this, and this topic or this subcategory grew by this much percent. I like that stuff because it does help guide you. Keywords would be nice, or like style trends. So not necessarily brands or categories, but trends. And maybe they even do that into it. I can't remember. I didn't look at the last one, which I probably should. Okay, question number 9. How often would you like to receive Posh Insider reports? So I do think the quarterly one is good, but I would love to see one monthly. I would love to see a newsletter monthly. And I mean, they have staff, they have people doing this. I'm confident that an employee could collect this data and create a basic newsletter once a month. Like, I feel confident that any educated person doing their position could do this. Now, I feel like I'm still asking for too much, but this would be directly beneficial to your sellers and help your sellers to provide the inventory that people are wanting on your app. Like, I feel like it's good for them, it's good for us. We'll see. Again, if you have any other things to add, please do not let my personal opinion take over what you are thinking. Drop them down below because you may have much better ideas than I do. And then the last, or not the last one, question number 10, what community initiatives would be most helpful in running your Poshmark closet? And they actually gave some options here. So one was peer-to-peer mentorship program. Now, I would be all for a peer-to-peer mentorship program if there was a, I don't want to say benefit to the person providing the mentorship, but there has to be something. And I do not want another Posh credit. So maybe they, put an add to your balance, like, hey, if you do this mentorship, blah, blah, blah. Like, there has to be some sort of benefit to us. Because I mean, it is nice to help people, but it's also time consuming. And I think a lot of people are working as well as reselling. So it's hard to fit those kind of things in. I have done mentorship, kind of like when you do those Posh and Sips or whatever, which I don't mind doing. But again, I feel like they're just using me. Like, I feel like Poshmark is using me to help others for free. That's how I personally feel. Discussion forum, I think that would be beneficial, but kind of scared for them what people would talk about in it. But perhaps they could initiate certain topic feeds and then just have someone that's moderating comments or like flag certain words to be removed. Or if you are not participating in a positive manner, you will be, blocked from the group or whatever. But I do wish that they had more discussion forums as well. Community event management system. I think this is just if there's a lot of community events happening. There is none happening in my area, so I don't really, that wouldn't benefit me. Easier way to find meetup with local poshers. I think that's okay, but I feel like everyone is busy kind of doing their own thing. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's value in it, definitely. But again, who's facilitating this? And I think they have to go to more communities. Like, I think they need to visit more communities in person to create community. More space for showcasing success stories from the Poshmark community. That's, come on. Community content submissions. So basically just opening it up for us to submit content, which I think again is a joke because they rarely, I feel like they do sometimes take our thoughts and considerations, but most of the time they're not seeking from us. I don't think there's a high value placed on resellers from Poshmark. I think it's if it benefits them. That is my own honest opinion. Okay, question number 11 was, how has Poshmark made a difference in your life? And I'm going to address this as the final topic in today's video because I think for the last positive note, we can all share what reselling has brought to our lives and then maybe what has Poshmark brought into your life, because I do think there's a lot of positives, even though sometimes I'm complaining or I'm talking about kind of dramatic stuff in here. They do also bring a lot of positive, maybe not this week or this month for many of us or the year 2022, but there is some benefits. So we'll cover that. And then their last question was, are you open to media opportunities and sharing your earnings publicly? And what's funny is that if they would have asked me this question last year, I think I would have said yes to both. I didn't really care. And I was like drinking the Kool-Aid and I was like just on the Posh train. But just over the last year, feeling that disconnect, feeling lied to, feeling manipulated, feeling led on, we're not doing anything, just work harder at your business, where meanwhile they're doing A/B testing half of the year. Like, there's just been so many shady things happening there that I would not be doing anything free for Poshmark, including letting them share my earnings publicly. Okay. moving along. I have one last note about Posh selling to Neighbor, and this is just some food for thought to anyone that thinks Poshmark, is in this for resellers or that they passionately care about you and your business. But this was a comment that I read online, and it really made me think. So this person must have posted the comment before all the class action lawsuits were initiated with the whole shares being undersold. So basically he said, how come I haven't heard of any lawsuits yet, given that Poshmark's executive team and early investors fleeced shareholders to line their pockets? They sold for cash at $18 a share a year and a half after an IPO at $42. We all just funded their operation for a while until they could sell the thing. It should be criminal. And I just want to give you facts and numbers. So when they went public, they sold 6.6 million shares for $277. $277 million. Whew, that's a big difference. $1 million. Let that sit with you. So they walked away with $277 million when they went public. And that funded the business for a while, right? Things went down and they sold it out, and people lost a large sum of money off of their shares. So that's the last negative comment or point that I have on it. I do want to end today's video again on a positive note. I think there are positive things. And basically, I wanted to kind of tell my reselling story. So I haven't shared this in quite a while on my channel, but I started reselling in the pandemic. So it was June 2020, and that was a couple months after the pandemic started. And it was more for something to do with my girls, to bring us together. We could go to the thrift store together. Our thrift stores were still open. We could sell things online. We were, looking for things. It just kind of gave me something to do with my girls, but also teach them some life skills, just some basic life skills. I would say about a year into it, both my girls were kind of done thrifting, and it did turn into just me. I don't think I ever saw my business growing to what it is now. And I feel like for me, my business is a success. I am bringing in a decent amount of money as a side hustle for something that I do part-time. And it has opened up so many opportunities. So my goal in the next few years is to go full-time. I still will work part-time in pharmacy to maintain my license. I think I need about 400 hours a year, which I will do, but I am going to be transitioning my income over to full-time. And I didn't think that that was possible. Like 2 years ago, I did not know this community. I've met so many amazing people. We were able to buy a property out by the mountains, and part of my business helps fund that property and pay bills there. I've just this year alone, I was able to buy a downhill mountain bike, which was, I think, $2,500. I do invest a lot of money back into my business. Whether it's like building my supplies, doing my room, because I work full time and this income is not relied on to pay bills and buy groceries. Right now, I'm in building phase with my business. So I do reinvest a lot of money back into my business. I bought a MacBook Pro. I have all the lighting setups. Definitely learning the ins and outs, and very excited to see what this brings for me. I know right now that we're all in really tough times, but I don't think this is going to last forever. And I know a lot of people right now feel like quitting, and I think that's like the tough thing about being a business owner sometime, is that it's not always going to be easy and it's not always going to be perfect. And I do understand that if you just financially cannot hold on to the inventory, but if you are in a position to hold on to your business for a couple months, I feel like this is going to get better. I don't think that this is going to last. I think a lot of this is market, it's economy, it's inflation, it's recession. There's a lot of things going on. Interest rates, people's mortgages, like people are having to choose between groceries and gas in their car. This is a reality right now. So nothing lasts forever. I've been through 2 recessions now since I've been an adult, and I know that this too shall pass. So I'm excited for the next 3 years, although I think we just have to get through the next 6 months to a year. It's not going to be easy, but I'm here for you on YouTube. I'm your friend, and what reselling has brought to me and how it has changed my life is it has given me confidence in so many ways that I didn't have before. And I don't know, I can't imagine my life without reselling now. So I would love to hear how it has changed your life, any positives it has brought to you, and what you look forward to in the future with your reselling business. Now, as you guys know, Poshmark is my main app. So even though I get frustrated with them as a business, I do still make a majority of my money on them and using their application. I just have expectations, like I'm allowed to have expectations. But yeah, I do enjoy it, and I'm not looking to transfer my business elsewhere, although I have been putting my eggs into more baskets. But I love the ease of Poshmark. I love how it's easy to list. I love how the shipping is handled. There's so many good things about it, but right now it just feels like there's a lot of negative stuff, and I'm hoping that, you know, next year they're able to start addressing some of these issues, because prior to them making changes this spring, I had no problems with the app. It ran well. Everything was good. I had no complaints. It's really just been the last 8 months. So I'm hoping, you know what, they're going to have a fresh start and we're going to be able to move forward in 2023. All right, drop your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your story on reselling, where you started, what it has brought to you, and what you're excited for in the future. Okay, well, we are at almost an hour. I want to thank you guys for tuning into these videos. I really enjoy them. If there's anything you want to add or topics you want me to discuss in the future, please drop them down below. I'm happy to add them into the discussion for the following week, or maybe a couple videos from now. Sometimes I have agendas already planned out ahead of time if there's been a lot of things happening. But yeah, I am open to any suggestions. All right, guys, I'm heading out of here. I hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up on your way out. And I am wishing you all many sales because we need it right now. And I'll see you next time. Bye.